Hi guys, Colesy. Today we're going to be looking at some PCs. Obviously it is Christmas coming up and so people are looking to get some gaming PCs for gifts. I figured I'd make a video where I go through a few suggestions from Fierce PC. Well, they're my suggestions that are available on Fierce PC that you might want to check out. Obviously I know that everyone has different budgets that they work to, so I've kind of tried to find a few PCs that specifically fit a number of different budgets. We're looking specifically, because Christmas is, like I said, fast approaching, I'm looking specifically at the next day PCs that Fierce PC offer. So these are PCs that you can't customize. There's no customization to them because they are just ready to go. And when you order it, as long as you order, I believe it's before 2 p.m, you can receive these PCs next day, which obviously is super helpful because Christmas is getting closer. You want to make sure that you get your PC in time for Christmas. If you do want to order any PC from Fierce PC and make sure that you have it in time for Christmas, they have said that the 11th, Friday the 11th, I believe, is the deadline to guarantee it for Christmas. I'm not entirely sure whether these next day PCs are, you might be able to get away with a couple days later, just purely because they're next day, they're ready to go. They don't have to build them. They are just sort of ready to go. If we just bear with, say, the 11th is your cutoff date to definitely have it for Christmas, then that works. Anyway, obviously this video is being recorded before Christmas, but if you're looking for a PC after Christmas or any other time that you found this video and you want some assistance on choosing what PC fits your budget or what fits your needs, then feel free to message me on either Twitter or Instagram. Both of those are at Colesy Gaming, and I'll do my best to help you and figure out a PC that will work for you and your budget. You'll see that I'm wearing Santa hat and Fierce PC Christmas jumper from last year, so we're getting ready for these Christmas PCs. I mean, it's one of the best gifts that you could receive for Christmas, for definite. Or another thing I should mention is if you are looking to get a PC from Fierce PC in time for Christmas, do it sooner rather than later, because the PCs are selling out very quickly. So if you want to get a PC, do it now, whether you're buying one of these next day PCs, whether you're buying a custom PC, whether you're buying a different PC from Fierce PC, get it sooner rather than later because they're selling out fast. Rightio. Right, first PC we're looking at today is the Express. I mean, I think they're all called Express because that's the next day, but the Exile Raider. So this is the cheapest of the PCs, as I said, and it is a sort of a base level gaming PC. You're not getting a dedicated graphics card with this PC. So normally if someone is looking for a gaming PC and they say, I want a PC for gaming, then I will always recommend that you get a PC with a graphics card, because your graphics card is what does majority of the work actually producing the game on your screen. PCs are capable of doing this without dedicated graphics cards, and especially with newer CPUs being more and more powerful as they are made and as they come out, you can run games without a dedicated graphics card. However, the experience is never going to be quite the same, and it is always going to limit you slightly. But if we're looking for the budget, right, this is the budget option. This is, you're just getting into it. Maybe it's for somebody who's younger, who wants to play a bit of Minecraft, a little bit of Fortnite, something like that, then this should be a good entry level. Just because it's an entry level and because it doesn't have a graphics card doesn't mean you would have to buy a new PC to upgrade it. It's very easy to add a graphics card to a PC. Immediately it will massively upgrade the PC and you'll be able to play a lot more games. You'll be able to get a lot more performance out of your PC just by simply adding a graphics card to this. So that's why I'm recommending it. It's a great way to start. It's a fairly inexpensive way to start, and then you're able to upgrade it easily in the future by just adding a graphics card, and that's going to just massively improve performance. So let me talk about the spec that you are getting. So we're getting a Ryzen 3 3200G, 16 gig of RAM, which is good. That's great that you're getting 16 gig of RAM, because I see a lot of PCs being offered with 8, and I always tell people, if you can really push your budget and get 16, get 16, because that's sort of becoming more the standard that I think a PC should have. Getting a terabyte hard drive, Asus Prime A320M motherboard, Windows 10, and a USB Wi-Fi adapter. Like I said, basic. It's got a Ryzen 3 3200G. As far as I'm aware, The newer ones are just coming out, I believe. So technically last gen, it is a Ryzen 3, so the lower of the Ryzen CPUs. Still not a bad CPU. 16 gig of RAM, like I said, good amount of RAM. Terabyte hard drive, that is sort of the minimum that you'd want to start with for storing Windows, storing games. That's your storage. It stores everything on it, okay? So hard drive, perfectly reasonable for that. In future, you can add an SSD, which upgrades just speed, makes everything a little bit faster. When it comes to performance with this, because it hasn't got the dedicated graphics card, you are running games via the Vega 8 CPU internal graphics. I'm just going to look up a quick video. This has a number of different games in it. It is running a Ryzen 3 3200G, which is the same as this PC, with Vega 8, which is the internal graphics. First of all, Valorant seems to be, I mean, it seems to be doing 120 frames. How's it doing internal? I'm curious about this. 1080p, graphics low. Fine, fair enough. Fair. Again, you're running this without a dedicated graphics card. Okay, so we're getting about 45 to 50 FPS. Definitely playable. Definitely, if you're coming from like a console, like an Xbox One or something, and you're coming to PC, you're looking to get into PC gaming, then this is definitely going to be, you're going to get a good experience from PC gaming. You're going to get a good taste of it with the option of upgrading in future by, like I said, adding a graphics card, and then that's going to immediately massively improve the frames per second that you're getting in these kind of games. That is the first one. £499.95p, so £500 pretty much. You'll have it next day, which is great. Also, remember, use code Colesy5. You get 5% off of that price anyway, so it's going to be even cheaper. So this one is pretty much, I figured I'll just briefly mention this one because it's pretty much exactly the same as the one we just saw, except this is a bundle. The last one was just the PC itself, so if you've got a monitor, TV and keyboard and stuff that you can plug it into, you can just HDMI into a TV if that's what you want to do. But this is, if you want to get the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, headset, everything as a set, as a bundle, so that basically it's an entire computer ready to go. That's basically this. So with this one, you're getting 24-inch monitor and headset, keyboard, mouse pad, but it's exactly the same spec PC as the previous one. This one is $579.95. Again, you can get 5% off using my code. If you're looking for more of a bundle and you want to get the monitor and everything with it, then I think for the extra, what is it, less than £100, it's like £80 or something. I think that's a pretty good deal. There are other bundles available with different spec PCs. Onward to the next PC. This PC is the Crusader Diamond GTX 1650. We are upgrading to a more definitely gaming focused PC because it has a graphics card in this one. So this one we're also switching from AMD CPU to Intel CPU, which is what I have. In my mind, the way I think about it is I always would think Intel is generally slightly better performing CPUs. And I say slightly because AMD are really doing very well with their CPUs, but Intel tend to be slightly more expensive, and AMD over recent years have been catching up, but they've been doing a great job at doing that, and they are generally slightly cheaper. Either way, I'm going to make sure I recommend you good CPUs, good PCs in general. I personally am running a very similar CPU to this one specifically anyway, so I know from experience that this is going to be a good PC. Actually, this is the exact CPU that Jake is currently running. With this PC, we're getting the Intel i5-9400F processor. Like I said, that is what my brother Jake is running. That's what we recently upgraded him to. Our dedicated graphics card that we're getting with this one is a GTX 1654 gig. That is the sort of base level graphics card, if you want to think of it like that. It's the lowest tier of graphics card, but still, because it's very modern, it's pretty good performing graphics card. Again, 16 gig of DDR4 memory. With this one, you're still getting the terabyte hard drive, but you're also getting a 240 gig SSD, so you can have Windows installed on that SSD, which means that your PC will just boot up nice and fast, so you can go from it being off to it being ready to go in literally seconds with an SSD. So that's all good. And then you've got your hard drive, your terabyte hard drive to store all your games, videos, pictures, whatever you want on it. Again, like I said, we are getting a graphics card with it, which is good because that means that we actually have a dedicated piece of hardware in the PC, which is for rendering those games and rendering those graphics. So if I, again, jump on YouTube and do a really quick search of i5 9400F 1650, 1080p high graphics in Fortnite, you're getting roughly 60 frames per second, which is nice. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, That's a pretty fun game. Again, if you put it down to medium, you'll probably get a steady 60 frames per second. That seems fairly reasonable, I would think. GTA 5, 1080p, high graphics, we're getting 75 frames, easily above 60. Rainbow Six Siege, that's a common game that people like. We're getting above 100 frames by the looks of things. So definitely with a PC like this, with a dedicated graphics card, you're getting more performance out of it. Perfectly reasonable entry-level PC for someone looking to get into PC gaming, or somebody just on a budget wanting to get a gaming PC. I know you can spend a lot of money and you can buy some incredibly impressive high performance, high power PC parts, but really I'd be perfectly happy playing on a PC like this. Like, mine is slightly more powerful than this. Actually, I think a similar PC to mine is coming up in this list, in this video, but I'd be totally happy to play games on this. Like, it runs the games at a playable rate, and that's what you want. You want to just be able to sit back and play the game and enjoy it. I think for the price that you're getting this at, £620 pretty much, £619.95. For that price, you're getting a perfectly good performing PC, a perfectly reasonable PC. This is pretty much, again, it's pretty much the same as the last PC. Like I said, the only thing on that last PC that you would maybe want to upgrade is the graphics card, the GPU. The 1650 that it had was basically a low-end graphics card. The only thing that's changed with this PC, the Crusader GTX 1660 Super, is the graphics card. That's the only thing that's changed. Everything else is the same. Still same processor, still same amount of RAM, still same storage, SSD. That's all the same. The only thing we've upgraded is we've upgraded from a 1650 4GB card to a 1660 Super 6GB card, which again is it's kind of a couple of steps up, because technically you got the 1660 and then the Super, I think. So it's a couple steps up from that. You're getting 2GB more VRAM in the graphics card, which means that you're going to get more performance. So let's have a look, see. Okay, Apex Legends. Okay, getting 100 FPS, 130 FPS, okay. So obviously depending on what's going on screen, depends on how high of a frame rate you're getting. If it's particularly busy on screen, the frames are going to be slightly less, but either way they were perfectly reasonable. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this one's sitting at about 79 at lowest, 90 high, not bad. Black Ops 3, average is 110-ish, roughly. Forza Horizon 4, on Ultra, you're getting 120 frames. Not bad. GTA 5, oh, we're hitting a nice 90 frames here on very high Ultra details. You can see there that you're getting an improvement with your FPS in games, because you've upgraded the graphics card. This PC is $749.95, so $750. I'd have no issue with using this PC myself. Onwards to another PC. This is the PC that I was talking about that is closer to my spec of my PC, which is what I used to do everything. Like, it's not as if I have two PCs to do streaming. I play the game on this PC. The PC also streams that game. I do all my video editing on this PC. I do everything on this PC. This is my PC that I have. I don't have like a second PC. I don't have a 2 PC setup. This is my PC, and it's very, very similar spec to this. This is the Crusader Raider RTX 2060. So I have a 2060 in my PC. I don't have an i5 9400F. I've got a 9600. So I have a slightly better CPU, but honestly, it's not a huge leap forward at all. 16 gig of RAM. I also have 16 gig of RAM. SSD, hard drive. Again, I have an SSD which I boot Windows off, and I have a couple hard drives because I need a fair amount of storage. But really, the PC itself is very similar spec to what I have, and I can tell you from my own experience that I don't think I've ever played a game on my PC that I've not been able to play. There's not a single game that I've tried to run and I've not been able to play it because my PC has not been able to run it. I've never really played a game where I've gone, it's really annoying me because it's low frames. It just doesn't happen. And obviously that's going to change over time, and as games improve and as new hardware comes out, my PC is going to get older, and then in a few years I'll probably update it. But that's what you do. I mean, that's what happens. That's how games progress. Same with consoles. Like, consoles get old, games come out, new consoles come out, games improve. Everything moves on. That's how it works. But for now, this is a a hell of a decent PC. For £850, I think that's a perfectly reasonable price. I'm not even going to bother looking at FPS for this because I know for a fact, running a very similar PC, that this is going to be a great performing PC. Another thing as well, you're getting the RTX 2060. So even though that is the lowest ray tracing enabled card, you can do ray tracing on it. So any game that's got ray tracing, Minecraft, I think Fortnite has ray tracing or it's getting ray tracing. Cyberpunk's coming up, that's going to have ray tracing. I'm definitely going to try that out. No, I might not play through the entire game with ray tracing on because it's going to have an impact and lower the frames, but it's going to be cool to use, to turn on, to be like, oh my god, look at that. It's an entry-level ray tracing card if you want to think of it like that, but compared to other graphics card like the 1660 Super, the 1650, the 1660 Ti or whatever, it's a very, very good performing graphics card, so that you shouldn't have any issues with it. You shouldn't have any problem with it, and it should not be something that you're gonna struggle to run anything with, basically. That's all the PCs, the express next day delivery PCs that Fierce PC, well, that's all the ones I'm showing you. There are a few more, and like I said, there are a few more that have bundles with them that have the monitor and everything bundled in. Like I said, if you do want some help, you do want some advice, then please do feel free to message me on Instagram or on my Twitter. Basically, those two are the easiest ways to get hold of me. Both of those are at Colesy Gaming, and I'd be happy to help you. I do it with plenty of other people that come to me and say, oh, I've seen your videos, I've got this much budget, I want to kind of play these games, what do you think is the best PC for me? Always happy to help. Fierce PC obviously do have a bunch of other PCs that they have that aren't next day specifically, and you can customize a little bit more. They also have new 3060 Ti PCs, which are the new NVIDIA graphics cards that have just dropped. So if you do want to get some of those, I would recommend getting on them quickly, because they will be gone quickly, I imagine, because the graphics card is new, and like I said, PCs are just selling super quick at the minute because it's coming up to Christmas. The 11th is the cutoff date for guaranteed for Christmas. Hopefully these next day PCs should be able to, you should be able to order them a little bit after that and still get them in time for Christmas because they're next day. But let's err on the safe side. Order your PC as soon as you can to get it for Christmas. In terms of delivery, this is something that people ask a lot in terms of shipping. So what countries do Fierce PC ship to? Unfortunately, they don't ship worldwide. Hopefully in the future, maybe that might be possible, but for now, if we just look here on the website, it says we ship to Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, north and south, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, and United Kingdom. So if you are in one of those countries, then you are able to order from Fierce PC, and I highly recommend you do it because they have amazing prices, and they have highly skilled staff, they have great customer service, and they have my awesome code Colesy5, which you can use to get 5% off your Fierce PC. So I would highly recommend you do that. Saves you a chunk of change, and it's all good, and it supports me, and it's just all around good for everybody. I think that's enough blabbering from me. I've given you a few recommendations for PCs that you should order ASAP to get them in time for Christmas, and hopefully that will just make somebody's Christmas. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment. Hopefully this video has been useful and helpful for some people. That's the idea of it, is that I'm trying to be helpful. Anyway, thank you guys, and I will see you next time.